exhale, we get to recharge. And what does that look like? So, welcome, welcome. This is Exhale. It's the first time I've done an event with this content. And it is the content that is near and dear to my heart. That was YouTube speaking to me, and I get to mute YouTube right now while I'm talking to you guys. For those of you that don't know who I am, I'm Maraya Brown. I'm a midwife. I've been a midwife really my whole life. And you're like, wait a minute, how do you midwife me on Zoom? And I'm not trying to get pregnant. I'm going through perimenopause and menopause. I midwife ambitious women through chapters of change. And yes, as a midwife, that means I'm helping you with your health and your vitality and your hormones and your adrenal well-being and your gut microbiome. All of that is relevant and important. I'm also midwifing you through your presence, through finding your moments of surrender, through getting to that moment where it's like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know who I am. And what did I get myself into? To coming out on the other side with a new, vibrant, spectacular version of you. Because the women that come into my hemisphere, my world, tend to be the women that are really ambitious. They're up to big things in the world, and that means you have a very big ripple effect in the world, and so do I. And so when we elevate who we're being, not just what we're doing, but who we're being as we do, and we become that vibrant version of ourselves, our ripple effect is that much more potent and powerful. And so today, tomorrow, we've got 4 days. I'll be live 1 hour a day. Hopefully you all have your workbook. If you don't have your workbook, put it in the chat. Let us know, the team that are, at least if you're here live. If you're watching the replay, then that means you've already registered and the workbook has come to you. Nonetheless, you're always welcome to email or text. So you email support@marayabrown.com, as long as you know how to spell my name, Maraya, or you can text 458-218-7817. And you can say, I don't have the workbook, or what did she say about this, or what's the time? Can I have the Zoom link? Is there a Google Calendar I can subscribe to? Yes, 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 yes. We're all here to support you every step of the way so that this can feel like a personalized experience. For those of you on YouTube, hello, hello. Comment in YouTube. The team will be there responding to you. We're here to help. And for those of you here on Instagram, also just comment. And the team will reach out in some way, shape, or form. We're here to support you. I love supporting the women that are in the energy of yes. Yes, me. Yes, I'm worthy. Yes, I'm enough. Yes, I want spectacular. So actually, those of you that are here on Zoom right now, just put yes in the chat. Yes, whatever it is for you. You can just say yes. You can say, yes, I'm worthy. Yes, I'm enough. Yes, I belong. Yes, I'm vibrant. Yes, I have hormonal vitality. And whatever your yes is for you, I see the yeses. The yeses. I see a really big yes. That's awesome. I love it. Love it. And so, a little bit about my journey and why I'm here. One, I already mentioned I'm a midwife. I didn't really know I was a midwife until I was about 22 years old, and my best friend from high school asked me to be at her birth. And I was like, oh. And so then I quit my corporate job and left a six-figure income and a company car, and had racked up enough miles through my old job that I booked a 1 year around the world trip, applied to grad schools. And it was when I was in West Africa volunteering with the midwives there that I was accepted at Yale. And I did the 3 year program at Yale to become a nurse practitioner and a midwife. And so since 2007, I've run the women's health and federally funded clinics, private practices, functional medicine practices. I've also had 3 babies of my own, and I've become the breadwinner and the CEO and founder of the Women's Vibrancy Code. And along that journey, back in 2014, I had my own health crash, whereas like, I've got it all together. I'm the healthcare provider in the community, and behind closed doors, I was tired. I was actually exhausted. My body hurt. I was having strange rashes. I'd lost my libido, and I was really good at overdoing, and I was also really good at self-reliance. And I'd given birth to baby number two, so I've had three home births. And I gave birth to baby number two, and that's Tova. She was having some kind of like heart rhythm abnormalities that I just didn't love. And so I had a naturopath come to the house to come check on her. And her name's Katie. And Katie was checking Tova. Tova was just fine. And then she looked at me and she said, "How are you doing?" I said, "I'm fine." I call fine a four-letter word. And she saw through it all and she said, "No, really, how are you doing?" And I said, I'm tired." And so good for me, she ordered some labs. And in my scenario, my thyroid and my adrenals had crashed because I was very good at overdoing. Okay. Had that continued, I know that my experience of perimenopause and menopause would have been atrocious because I have clients that come to me because they don't listen to the whispers and then they don't hear to the loud knocks on the door and then they come to me really needing support. And so what I want to say to you up front is if you're tired, if you're struggling with brain fog, if you're not sleeping well, if you're noticing changes in your mood, irritability, the viper coming out, big pendulum swings where you're like, "Whoa, I don't recognize this version of me." If there's hot flashes, weight changes, libido changes, I could go on and on and on. Hot and cold intolerances. I want you to really listen. Okay. Your body is smart. Your body is speaking to you, and we get to listen. And my hope is that you listen swifter than I did because I was like self-reliant, got it all together, running like five businesses. And luckily I found functional medicine. And then I ran the women's health and a functional medicine practice until 2018. I went online because what I realized is I was giving women fish and I want to teach you how to fish. And so I went out blazing the trail in the online space to teach women about perimenopause and menopause and to teach them solutions that are out there that might be prescriptions, but they don't have to be. And the value of being able to take the pause, inhale, exhale, recharge, and the impact that that has on you. We're going to be talking about recharging today, really getting honest with what is actually draining me, and then teaching you what does it look like to rebuild? What are my options? Right. And here's the thing, there's no one size that fits all. You are never going to hear me say, "Here's the protocol that worked for me, so it works for everyone." Women are dynamic, we're ever-changing beings. You get to have a personalized plan and you get to rebuild. And then we're going to talking about reconnecting, to reconnect with myself so that I can live an inside out life. Not an outside in because they told me I should feel or ChatGPT told me here's my solution. Or my family of origin and my belief systems up till now have told me through evidence from the past that this is the way it's going to be. We get to have an inside out life, which uses our imagination. But in order to go to imagination, your nervous system has to be regulated. So we're going to be in this workshop digging into what does that look like? What does that feel like to actually regulate our nervous system and why? What value is there? And then at the end, we will rise. And my hope is by the end of this workshop, you'll all feel like you have a personalized plan. For those of you watching the replay, wherever you're watching the replay, absorb it, ask your questions. For those of you that attend live every day for these 4 days, I am going to gift a one-on-one hour call with me. So if you're able to hop on live all 4 days, amazing. I celebrate you. And if it doesn't fit into your schedule, that's cool too. There's no pressure here. We all get to make very deliberate and conscious choices with our time. And for most of the clients that I work with, time is our most scarce resource. Many of them, it's not money, it's not effort, it's not support system, it's time. And maybe for you, it's a combination of all of them, and we'll dig into that. Okay. So that's what brought me here. And the other thing to add is now fast forward to 2025, we are in a different world. There are a lot of menopause experts in the world. There are new books that have been published. There's a lot of resources. We now have AI where we can just get answers at our fingertips. And there's a lot of really good solutions out there. And so what I'm realizing is my role And the ripple effect that I want to have in the world is also evolving. And there's less need for me to be at the mountaintop teaching people about perimenopause and menopause, although I'll still do it. And now we get into the bigger conversation, which is our authenticity and our identity and who we be as we do and our nervous system. Because I think those are the pieces when the foundation is poured and then we pile on top of it the hormone piece and the adrenal piece and the gut microbiome piece. Now we're talking. And that's where real vitality and vibrancy take place. So I'm so glad that you're here. Curious, just put it in the chat. Where's everybody from? Where's everybody from? I'm curious. I know some of you. So nice to see you, Shanae. And if you're watching on YouTube, please put it in the chat. If you're watching on Instagram, put it in the chat. Where are you watching from? Would love to see, would love to see. Colorado in the house. Hello, hello. Toronto, Canada, Boston. I know we've got the Philippines in the house, Southern Oregon in the house, the UK. Hey, hey. Oh, I love it. All the different time zones. Atlanta. Nice to see you. Okay, cool. So we've got a really fun global. I was on a call earlier today and it was so cool. There was, I think, six of us, just powerhouse women with big ripple effect. And there was someone in Norway, someone in Australia, someone in the UK, someone in Canada, a couple in the US. This is so amazing. Like, I love in-person work and I host women's retreats. My next one is in January. If you're curious, ask. But how cool that we can gather here in a virtual space and we have women from all over the world in different walks of life, and we're all saying, yes, me. Yes, I want my version of vitality, my version of what does it look like to exhale. So let's go right into the workbook. It says no more going to bed tired, waking tired, and calling it normal. How many of you, be honest, feel tired more than you would like? Just put me in the chat. Just put me down below and hi, everybody. Anybody? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I find that many women are really pushing or grinding, especially the ambitious woman, like holding it all together, running the business, supporting the kids, supporting the community, supporting the family, and then maybe doing a little bit more caffeine than we want to give ourselves credit, or pushing through that exhaustion, maybe waking up in the middle of the night or waking up in the morning, like dredging ourselves out of the bed. Yep. So that is not normal. Okay. And if you've gone to a provider and they're like, your labs look normal, it's just part of aging, I go, find a new provider. Find a new person that you're asking. Okay. We get to age spectacularly. We get to feel spectacular. So my first question in the workbook was, why are you here? What do you hope to feel by the end of this week? Some of you might not even remember why you registered, but if you do, or if right now you just give yourself a moment to say, why am I here? What am I longing for? What would I love to learn? What would I love to feel? What would I love to get out of this time? Because I honor you. It's a big deal that you've shown up. It's one thing to register. We've got around 300 registered, and all of you that are watching the replay in whatever way you are watching, I honor you for your time. And you get to say, here's why I'm here. This is what I would like. This is how I would like to feel. This is what I would like to learn. And if you're willing and daring enough to put it in the chat, I would love to see. And same with here, what's the topic today? Today we're talking about recharging. So we're getting into the nitty-gritty of what's actually draining us and what's underneath our brain fog and starting the process of an actual recharge. And part of that is the exhale. Yeah. Let's see it in the chat. Shanae, Shannon, Sandra, Gina, Kia, Christina. Need to take better care of me so I can continue to take care of others. Yes, girl. Absolutely. Like everybody knows, put on your own oxygen mask first. It's true. Yeah, we don't function from an empty cup. Perimenopause wreaking havoc. Yeah, Gina, if you're open to sharing any more specifics around how it's wreaking havoc, for many, I hear, oh my gosh, the anxiety came in out of nowhere, sadness, weight changes, brain fog, insomnia, fatigue, libido changes, irritability changes. I mean, we could go on and on and on. Rashes, itchy ears. There's so many things that can sneak their way in or hit with a big thunk. The rage pendulum swings, totally, totally. A lot of that is progesterone. It can also be estrogen too. Expand my awareness and feel even better and more energized. Absolutely. I love that, Shannon. It's so nice to have you here. So, if you don't make time for your wellness, you'll be forced to make time for your illness. Let me say it again. If you don't make time for your wellness, you'll be forced to make time for your illness. You're all here making time for your wellness, and I honor that in you. And I put in the workbook, you're not tired because you're weak. You're tired because your body has been stuck in survival mode. We're going to be digging more into that and the role of the amygdala, that reptilian brain that's just keeping us safe to survive. And burnout is not a personality flaw. It's a physiological mismatch between what your day demands and what your nervous system can deliver. So when you learn to pause, to breathe, and refuel intentionally, energy becomes predictable, not accidental. And that refueling can come in so many ways: hydration, nutrition, personalized supplementation, breath, nervous system regulation, community, learning, feeling filled up, putting on your theoretical oxygen mask. And then I put a spot here in the workbook for you to actually sign. So I no longer wear exhaustion as a badge of honor. Rested me is richer me. And I invite you, if you have your workbook printed, to sign it. I'm signing it right now. It's not a badge of honor. We create what we put our attention towards. Where is your attention? And let's shift the gaze to put the attention on, I want to recharge. I want a spectacular experience of perimenopause and menopause, and I'm open to the route. I'm open to the way. So the next thing I put in the workbook is we all have a general way of being when we're feeling threatened. Change is a threat. Financial stress is a threat. Dehydration is a threat. An alarm in the morning before you're ready to wake up can be a threat. An argument with your partner, your dog pooping on the rug. There's so many different examples. So ask yourself the question. We all have a general way. It's fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. So just think through, what is my general go-to? Am I quick to respond with fight energy? Do I tend to go right into flight? I'm out of here. No, thank you. And constantly changing, maybe leaving relationships, unfriend, no, thank you, I'm out, leave the room. Is it freeze? Losing your words, unable to be clear on what to do or what to say, you just freeze. It's all self-preservation. And it's part of what's draining us. Or is it fawn? Fawn is I go right into people pleasing. I go right into appeasing. Whatever you want. Let me just make everybody happy. I feel stressed. And so just think through. We all tend towards one direction. I tend towards either fight or flight. Flight is probably the one that I would love to change the most. I would rather dig in, return to love. I would rather be the woman, remind myself to be the woman that goes back into her possibility, goes back into her imagination, and doesn't fight or flight or freeze. She digs in and she brings her love. And that starts with self-awareness. So where do I tend to go? And if you're open to putting it in the chat, I would love to see. Are you clear? Where do I go in general? I'm glad you're here to breathe. And I'm sorry for your recent loss, Maria. Where do you generally go? Fight, flight, freeze, fawn, or a combination? It could be all of them. flight, freeze, flight, fight. Yeah. Isn't it interesting? We tend to have a couple. And the next question, just in self-reflection, um, yeah, but I'm too tired to fight anymore. So brilliant, Shanae. And then that damaged my health. Right. I love that you're saying this because one of the things that we're going to learn about in the midst of this workshop is we have something called the amygdala, which is our reptilian brain. It's deep, deep in our brain. If you have the workbook, it's on page 7, that red in the middle. It says the very old brain. 500 million years it's been evolving. And we want it tucked in. I call it Miggy. When it's tucked in, we feel safe. There's no reason to be in fight, flight, freeze, fawn, right? When it's tucked in, we can move into the place of possibility. We are motivated. We are emotionally attuned. We can be in the place of possibility and imagination. But if the amygdala pops, we call it Miggy's out. Woohoo! Fight, flight, freeze, fawn, ah! There is no moving up into the place of possibility. There is no moving up into discernment or logic or imagination or how am I feeling? I'm just in survival. And so, Shanae, your point in the chat is so beautiful, right? I'm too tired to fight anymore, and it damages my health. Because what happened is over time, the constant fight, flight, survival did damage your health. And now we go, I don't have time anymore. So maybe you've moved into fawn. Maybe there's a little bit of giving up, but there's always hope. There's always, 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 always hope. And I'm so glad that you're here. Okay, so what I did in the workbook, hopefully you have it. I'll show you guys a little bit here. I gave you some example of labs, okay, for those of you over on Instagram. The first one is thyroid labs. I think actually what I'm going to do is I'll do a share screen just in case some of you don't have it printed up, and that way you'll have the visual. Dun, 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 dun. I love technology. And for those of you over on Instagram, just register and you can come back and watch the replay. Okay, so first, thyroid. Often, if you're someone who has been tired, struggling with depression, hard time sleeping, hot and cold intolerances, rashes, um, menstrual cycle irregularities, infertility, miscarriages, it might very well be your thyroid. And you've gone into your provider, and usually all they order is this, the TSH. It's called thyroid stimulating hormone. And they're like, oh, yeah, look, it says 3.35, and see the normal is 0.45 to 4.5. You're good. It's not your thyroid. Well, no. First, I want you to know that normal in my world for TSH is between 1 and 2. So this is a client of mine in her scenario. Her TSH was outside of normal range. Okay, then we look at T4, which is the hormone that actually comes from the thyroid. Okay, that's actually looking pretty good. And then we look at reverse T3, which shows me how much inflammation is attacking the thyroid or influencing the thyroid. And then we look at her T3, which most providers never look at. I don't want you to get caught up in what's T3 and what's T4. What I want you to know is this is a comprehensive thyroid panel, and my guess is most of you have never gone to a provider that's actually looked at all of it. And if you come and work with me and the team, yes, we will. In this scenario, there's a few things going on. Number one is her thyroid antibodies are totally out of whack, so there's likely some autoimmune condition impacting the thyroid. But because officially her TSH was in normal range, her provider would have never even looked at it. On top of that, T3, which is the actual usable form, that actually is the thing that moves the needle with your metabolism and your mood and your energy, is actually suboptimal for this woman. Okay, so we go, not only is there an autoimmune thing that's likely Hashimoto's playing underneath the surface that could be going on for years, sometimes even decades, and goes unnoticed, but also her body is not converting T4 to T3. Don't get caught up in the weeds. What I want you to hear is often you've gone to your provider, they've told you your labs are normal, even though you're saying, but I don't recognize the woman in the mirror. You get to continue to be in self-advocacy and ask different questions, ask different people. The other thing in this scenario is vitamin D. So many labs will say vitamin D normal is between 25 and 100. This says 30 and 100. And this is low. This is exceptionally low. I would rather a vitamin D level be between 60 and 80. Okay, so I show you this just to give you examples of these are markers. We want to see the data. Okay, I want to be able to look at the data, look at functional tests, more comprehensive labs, and mix it with how are you doing? How are you feeling? How often are you in fight, flight, freeze, fawn? Okay. And now we get to come up with a personalized plan. This comes from a Dutch Plus test, which you guys are going to learn about the Women's Vibrancy Accelerator trifecta. With the trifecta, the Dutch Plus is included. So is a thyroid panel. And so for this woman, there's three different kinds of estrogen, not just one. But we also get to see what does her body do with that estrogen? Which pathway does it go down? Because that changes the plan. It also changes how I'm perceiving of what might be going on with you. And we want to look at what's going on with progesterone, testosterone, and then this. See where it says saliva-free cortisol pattern? And you see we've got this upper black line, and then we've got a lower black line. Can I go over? No, there. This would be low end of normal, high end of normal. This is the client that I screenshotted her labs. She wakes up in the morning with the highest cortisol of all, which tells me she's not sleeping. And when you wake up and your cortisol is supposed to rise, hers is not rising. And then it should stay right in that mid range throughout the day. Hers flattens. So, what does that tell me? I remember the call with that woman and I said, wow, are you waking up feeling tired and anxious? And she goes, oh my gosh, she broke into tears. She said, I thought it was just me. I'd gone and seen providers. They said everything was normal, but I'm exhausted. And she's running a large nonprofit that raises millions of dollars for a really good cause. And she's doing her best to show up as a wife and a mom and two teenage daughters. And she went, oh my God, I'm not crazy. So what happens is you might go in and your provider orders your cortisol through blood. That's one point in time. You can see cortisol is supposed to have a natural curve. So in relation to what? The beauty of seeing the 24-hour curve is now we get to see what is going on throughout the day. And that point in relation to what? So the reason I showed you those examples is I wanted you to see there is data out there that likely has never been drawn for you, or it's being looked at through a lens of by a provider that just has not been trained to look at your optimization. You're not here because you're okay with just fine. You're here because you want vitality. You're here because you want to have the ripple effect in the world. And that requires real vitality, real optimization, not just fine. And so I want you to hear loud and clear that part of the recharge is getting the right labs. Okay. So the next question is what could be draining you? So on the workbook, I put, could it be work, time, finances, people, health, hydration, sleep, time, nutrition, hormones, adrenals, thyroid, decision fatigue, community, support, marriage, emotional labor, boundaries. I have to do it all myself, belonging, worthiness, traffic, trauma, children, family. Get it? There are so many things that can be draining you. So if you have this printed up, I encourage you to circle one or many. And let's be honest. I'm not going to tell you go weigh your food every day. I was at an event a few weeks ago down in San Diego. There was 240 very successful business owners, and there was one health talk, and the woman stood up there. She's a very, very, very famous health expert, like ABC, all the places. And she was telling everybody in the room, if you want to feel better, you need to count your protein and weigh your food every day and get on a bioimpedance scale every day. I'm like, not the women that I work with, they don't. We need expansion. We need lightness. We need possibility. We need flexibility. The feminine is water. Imagine a river. The feminine is water. We do really well with flow. The banks, that's the masculine. And at times, we show up in our masculine and we make the decisions and we hold it together. And hopefully, all of us have people in our lives that also get to show up as the masculine and hold that so that we can be water. And so ask yourself the question, what is actually draining me? And maybe it's something else. I left space. One of the things I became aware of over the last few days, I just got home at 1 o'clock this morning. I was down in Malibu. I was being interviewed on a podcast. And Malibu happened to have record-breaking torrential rain. And there was, in Malibu, you've got PCH Highway and then the big hills. And there have been big fires over the last year. And so there was concern of mudslides. So I'm going in noticing I feel fear. I've already gone through a natural disaster where I drove through flames to get to my kids. And now I'm getting on an airplane, flying down to a place I don't know, renting a car, getting in a hotel with torrential rain. And I went, oh, there are still places where fear is the thing that's draining me. Fear is getting in my way. And I know it doesn't serve me and it's valid. I get to honor that fear. I get to feel it. I get to breathe into it. And then I get to tuck Miggy back in. And we're going to be getting into, in the midst of this workshop, what does that look like to tuck Miggy back in so that we actually feel safe and we can go into the place of possibility. So if you're open to putting it in the chat, what is draining you? What is draining you? What is draining you? And hi, Mukti. Everything. Everything. That's honest. Yeah, to be able to say, I feel really drained. But the beauty of if you jump into a swimming pool, if you hit the bottom, there's a lot more to push against and can make it to the surface faster. Wearing too many hats, yes. Women, we're good at that. Let me multitask, wear all the hats. And no, I'm also going to be my healthcare provider and I'm going to interpret my own labs and I'm going to go on to the CVS store and buy all these supplements because they work for my friend and I've got it. I'm just going to Google it in the middle of the night and say, why am I waking up between 2 and 4 a.m. in the morning? And I've got it. And I'm also going to take care of my kids. And now I'm going to homeschool and now I'm going to, right? We wear all the hats. So we get to say, all right, what hats can I take off? And here, Maraya, you wear this hat. That's your expertise. And hey, Shanae, you wear this hat. That's your expertise. And hey, Mukti, can you wear this hat for a little bit? That's your expertise. I am gifting you the possibility of you rising in your expertise because I am drained by wearing all of the hats. Finances, restless nerves in my feet, totally overthinking. The holidays racing toward me. Yes, 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 it's draining. And so I feel most drained when, and my body tells me I'm running on empty by. So when you've just thought about what is draining me, take note of what did you feel in your body? What did you feel? What did you feel in your body? And you don't have to put it in the chat. Was it a pain in your jaw? Was it a tightness in your chest? Was it pressure in your shoulders? Was it a heaviness? Was it a lightness? Was it a nauseous feeling? A stabbing, a poking, a heaviness? Yeah. I was facilitating a call earlier today and brought a woman to really this place of calm where she could feel it as she's shifting her thinking and moving into a new identity. But she said, but now my teeth hurt and my jaw hurts. And so we went into what does that represent? And it was her body showing her that she's caught in a loop of indecisiveness and that she's harboring anger. The body is so good at telling us what's going on. And the mind and body are not two different things. So if you're having rashes, listen. If you're having indigestion and bloating and gassiness, listen. If you're experiencing a heaviness, listen to it. And right now, we just went into what is draining me, and you listen to the evidence from your body. So now you have that evidence, and tomorrow, next month, 5 years from now, if you have that feeling and you go, oh, I've felt that before, it might be evidence that your body is telling you, hey, you're running on empty. This is how I let you know you're drained, and it's time you get to raise your hand and fill up, recharge. Okay. And so then the last part here, if nothing changes, 6 months from now, I'll likely feel. Ask yourself the question, if in 6 months nothing has changed, how will you feel? If you're acknowledging this feeling of, oh, there are parts of my day, my week, my relationships, my finances, my thinking, my health, my hormones that are draining me. The indecisiveness, the unknown, the worthiness, the woman that I'm being. What if I stay here? What if nothing changes? And I move forward 6 months from now and still nothing has changed. I'm telling the same stories, same record, same people, same finances, same job, same health, same energy level, same sleep, same mood, same fight, flight, freeze response. Then what? And we go, what if we go 3 years down the road and nothing's changed? What if we go 5 years down the road? Nothing's changed. 10 years down the road. Nothing's changed. What is the impact? Exhale. Take a deep breath. Inhale. You're here, so that's not going to happen. But we also get to be honest with ourselves. What is actually going on here? And why am I here? Why am I showing up on this Zoom, on this Instagram, on this YouTube, watching this replay? Why am I here? Because there's some part of me that's drained and I'm longing for a recharge. And if I get honest with, if nothing changes, then what? There's your ammo. There's your motivation. Because the women I work with go, no. I'm a trailblazer. I'm a game changer. I make things happen. And it doesn't mean we go into force. We do get to go into surrender. We get to go in softness, but we also make the declaration, no, I'm not doing that. It's time for change. So what can change look like? And that, my friends, is what we really get to focus on for the next 20 minutes, as well as tomorrow and Friday and Saturday. And for everybody that registers, you'll have access to the replay. You'll have access to the workbook. You have access to concierge support. You also have access to booking a call with me. Okay, so once I'm done here, I'm freeing up. I've got blocks on my schedule because it tends to fill up fast. So I'll lift those blocks. And then if one of you is like, hey, I have some questions, I am ready to declare that I want hormonal vitality. I want adrenal vitality. I'm curious, that curve, Maraya, that you were showing me, what's mine? What about my hormones? What about my thyroid? And you're saying, no, I want to understand this. I want to feel better. And I want swift resolution. And I'm willing to receive the help. We get to dig in there. And also thanks for putting the replay link in there. The Women's Vibrancy Accelerator Trifecta, the doors are officially open as of now. Just to let you know upfront, we'll be talking about over the next 4 days. And for those of you that book a call, we can talk more specifically. But the trifecta, you'll have until the 26th to take advantage of some of the bonuses that we're offering. The trifecta is a 90-day deep dive. I'm pulling up the link. So actually, Raisa, will you put the link in the chat? It's a 90-day deep dive. Shanae, you've already done it. So for you, we're going to talk about something different. But for everybody else, it's a 90-day deep dive where we're going to look at labs. You're going to have a mixture of Swift group calls and or one-on-one time, depending on how you like to learn. And we get to get in there and really look at your hormones, your adrenals, your thyroid, help you understand what's going on, and give you a personalized approach to changing that reality so that your energy turns back on, your sleep gets better, your mood becomes stabilized, and you start really embodying her. I keep this with me all the time. What would she do? She. What do I mean by that? She. She. The one who feels spectacular, the one that's vibrant, the one that is energized, the one that has the motivation and the energy to go live the life, the one that's able to turn her creativity into purpose, the one who can exist in her imagination and all of the possibilities, her, because her hormones are regulated, her nervous system is regulated, and she's in the place of self-awareness and taking account of her beliefs, her thinking. So her. We get to do work in the midst of the trifecta to help you get clear on who is she? How does she feel? How does she think? How does she walk? How does she dress? What kind of decisions does she make? What life is she creating? How does she engage in her relationships? And what would she do? And so, can you see how it's all important? Of course, I want you to feel physiologically and hormonally optimized. I'm a midwife. We got to have a healthy body, healthy pregnancy, healthy baby, right? I also want you to understand the building blocks of who you are being as you're doing and understand how much that impacts it. You can be eating the most spectacular salad that was harvested in the Himalayan mountains and blessed by monks and Reikiified and hydrating, but you don't believe in it and your stinking thinking is getting your way. I'm telling you, it's not going to make you feel vibrant. If your nervous system is not regulated and Miggy is out, you're in just like dysregulated, what I call moro. It's the startle reflex. Ah, come to the January retreat. We're going to dig into that. If you're there, we get to help support you to tuck that Miggy back in so that you feel safe. And now you go into the place of real possibility and you get to be her. And yes, we do it in 90 days. It's swift, it's fast, it's amazing. There's modules, there's group calls, there's one-on-one time. Yep. And then like the link in the chat, and for those of you, once you have the replay page, you'll see there's book a call. There's also the link right to the trifecta. But what you're seeing on there is as long as you say yes before the 26th, there's some pretty amazing bonuses worth around $1,300. So there's a sleep and stress mastery call that I'm going to do just for those of you saying yes here. I'm going to offer a private WhatsApp access for 30 days for the group. So for 30 days, you're going to be able to pop on there and ask one another questions and connect. And then I'm going to send you a Vibrancy welcome box, which is like a box of my favorite things. And I'll pop that in the mail simply by being swift and saying, yes, I declare it. I say yes to me and I say yes to me before November 26th. Okay, so that's the Women's Vibrancy Accelerator trifecta. And for anybody that books a call like Shanae, because you've already done the trifecta, we're going to massage something and have a conversation about some other version of it. For you, I think the January retreat would be spectacular, but we can always talk about it. Okay, so last page of the workbook. And before I go there, does anybody have any questions, any thoughts? Put it in the chat. Anything popping up for you? Mukti, Shanae, Shannon, Lorena, Raisa, Gina, Kia, all the iPhone and iPad and Christina and Gail. Anybody have any questions, any thoughts about anything that I've talked about so far? You're welcome to put it in the chat and I'll give a moment. Same with you guys on Instagram. I'm seeing job switching. Totally, totally, totally. Yes, thank you. And Rice is putting that you're always welcome to email or text too, especially if you're a more private person and you're like, these are some strangers. And what do you mean this is also on Instagram? It's also on YouTube. I'm not ready. Totally fair. That's okay too. So let's go into some action steps for tomorrow. I wanted to make sure to leave you guys with some nuggets of like, okay, can we get a little bit more granular? Right? We get to go up into the ethereal, up into the vision, up into the clouds, and then also come down into the mundane, into the granular. So, some action steps for tomorrow and beyond that are going to energy swap that you could potentially start tonight or tomorrow morning when you wake up. Number one that I had to put on there is get the right labs. So, I showed that visual. If you have the workbook, I encourage you to look at what labs have actually been ordered and drawn by your PCP or your OBGYN or your naturopath or your acupuncturist or your functional medicine provider, whomever you've seen, and just take a peek and go, huh, maybe. Maybe the answers have been there all along. And I just was asking the people for directions to places that they haven't been. I'm not blaming them. I'm not feeling any shame or guilt. I'm not going to choose any resentment. I'm going to come from an empowered place and say, now I know. Okay. Next step is list one practical shift in each area that feels doable this week. Okay. So I said nutrition, hydration, rest, boundaries, support, adaptogen. So nutrition. Let's talk about one nutrition shift that you could make that's going to recharge. Curious if anybody has any ideas without me even saying anything. And yeah, you can book a call. Thanks for putting that in there, Lorena. Fruits, vegetables, and berries. Fruits, vegetables, berries. Try eating more of them. It's actually quite simple. More veggies, totally. It's so simple. Shop the perimeter of the grocery store, get more color. Okay. You'll be blown away if you're feeling depleted or you're feeling like you need a recharge from a nutritional standpoint to go, wow, I'm eating all this packaged food. I can't even read some of the ingredients in it. What if I went back to how my grandparents ate and I simply ate real food? And what if I brought in more color? So I like to recommend a minimum of 3 colors at every meal. White, yellow, brown don't count unless it's like a really bright yellow bell pepper or a banana or something. And just go, wow, can I get 3 colors in? I get 3 colors in? I'm just trying to think, what did I have today? I had some cilantro, I had some blueberries, and I had an egg. Egg is a bright yellow. I'll count that, but I'm like, whoo, okay. What else did I? Oh, I had my matcha, so there's some green. And I took a lot of supplements, but it was a full day. So I'm like, okay, I could do a better job at getting some more color, and I'll go get a great thing of color after I talk with you guys. Okay. Next thing is hydration. Um, I wonder if anybody's seen this. See this? See this? I'm curious. Anyone have ideas on what this is? Inside are wires. And if I close the circuit, it makes sound and it lights up. Okay. All I'm doing is closing the circuit. Why? Because I'm an electrical being. People talk about energy and frequency and vibration. Guess what? Our bodies are conduits. Our bodies are electrical beings filled with vibration and frequency. So when we hydrate, we give zest to the electrical charge. Why do we not get in a swimming pool when there's a lightning storm? Because water will attract the lightning, right? So if you are feeling drained and you're looking for a recharge, I encourage you to take an account of how much water am I actually drinking? How much water am I actually drinking? And likely it's time for you to drink more of it, at least half your body weight in ounces. And if you're already a great hydrator, okay, maybe we want to add a little bit of Himalayan sea salt or some lemon water into, or lemon juice, or a splash of apple cider vinegar. Each of those does different things. Um, Soda water, so like as in bubbly water, yeah, that hydrates. Yep, it can not the best for the enamel of your teeth, but if that's what you're using to hydrate, as long as it's not soda, like sugared soda, right? But yeah, rest. What does that look like to rest? Rest can be getting great sleep, 8 to 9 hours of sleep a night. Rest can be taking a pause and taking a breath and an exhale and quieting your mind, allowing yourself to unplug just for a moment and then plug back in. Rest can be laying on your back with your butt up against the wall and legs upright. So your body's at 90-degree angle and laying there with your hands up if you want to receive, hands down if you want to ground in and and feel. Lay there for 60 seconds. There's rest. Okay. Often, if you're feeling a need to recharge, it's because you're running on empty. So refuel. Refuel with nutrition, refuel with hydration, refuel with energy, breath. Okay, boundaries. Maybe it's time to set more loving, not from the place of resentment or anger or scarcity, not that, but from the place of love and abundance and worthiness and peace and safety and intuition and certainty. A boundary from that place to be able to say, I serve a lot of people in this world and I'm feeling drained. I'm feeling empty. Time for my recharge. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to set a boundary around time, energy, money, expenditure, service, whatever it is for you, as long as it's coming from a place of love. It's coming from that inside out game rather than the outside in. Okay, support. What does it look like to receive more support? The feminine, that water in the river, the feminine is in receivership. The feminine is willing to ask for support, and the feminine is able to receive that support. So, where is there support around you that's been there all along, and you've just opted to not see it? Okay, we're going to learn more as we progress through this workshop, Miggy. When we are in fight, flight, freeze, fawn, and not feeling safe, it's actually really hard, impossible, to move up to the place of curiosity and what is possible. And so when we're in a statement of I'm not supported, that's coming from not safe, to turn it into a question of where is their support? Who is there supporting me? How are they there supporting me? In what ways am I supported by the mountains and the clouds and the air and the water? To move into that place of questions rather than statements requires curiosity and possibility and imagination, which means we have to feel safe. Okay, and we're going to be digging into this. Safety might be I'm nourished, I'm hydrated, I'm rested. It might be I've set clear boundaries, I'm coming from love. It might also be I've tucked Miggy back in and I'm coming from a regulated nervous system. Okay, so support. You get to ask yourself questions. And for this part of the workbook, I don't answer this for you. You answer for yourself. You answer for yourself. In what ways can you better get nutrition and hydration and rest and boundaries and support? And then the last thing is adaptogens. What are adaptogens? They help the body better adapt to stress. In here, I have the Four Sigmatic matcha think. And then I add in a protein source and a quality fat source. I have free adaptogen elixir recipes. Grab them. We can talk more about them as we progress throughout this workshop. And then sometimes supplements, but I'm not going to recommend any specific supplements here because I believe it needs to be a personalized thing. I don't want you leaving with a shopping bag or a shelf full of supplements that are just giving extra work to your liver. I want the supplements that you add in to feel energizing and possible and expansive and to know that they're giving you what they need based on your labs and your symptoms and what we know of you. Okay. So in the adaptogens, just write down. If you already know what an adaptogen is, use it, right? Drink your adaptogen elixirs. If you don't, Grab the adaptogen elixir recipes. Ask your questions as we progress through here because there's different adaptogens, and I might recommend something specific for you based on the way you're showing up and the symptoms that you're having. And lastly, if you imagine that you have more energy and the lights are back on and there's no more brain fog, what would change? What would change? In your body, in your relationship, and how you show up at work, or in your purpose, in what you believe is possible, and allow yourself to feel it. Allow yourself to feel it. What would change? Allow yourself to feel that ripple effect. If I had more energy, I would show up more with more patience with my children. They would feel more loved. And now we're all having a bigger ripple effect in the world. If I had more clarity of thought and I wasn't so moody, I would actually feel more confident. I'd probably go out in the world more, and I'd be more likely to launch that business that I really, really long to do, or to do it in a more loving way. Whatever it is for you, but allow yourself to ask, and then what? And then what? And observe the ripple effect for you personally, in your life, in your relationships, and children, and husbands, and mothers, and daughters, and sisters, and community members, and neighbors, and coworkers, and bosses, and employees, and all of it. And the future version of you. The future version of you. And we ended today's workshop with, if we think about life, parenting, business, ROI, every drained decision costs me. Get honest. What is it costing you to be in that constant fight, flight, freeze, fawn? To feel drained, to feel empty, to not know, to wear all the hats, to be showing up as the woman based on the past rather than the woman in her vision and in her possibility. What is it costing you? And if you're open to sharing, put it in the chat. What is it costing you? Costing you your joy. Totally, Maria. Yeah, costing you your joy. And then we get to go, what about dollars? What is it costing me in time? What is it costing me in rework, wasted energy, inefficiency? Right? It's not just more energy we're looking for. We're looking for radiance. We're looking for efficiency. We're looking to feel spectacular. Be the trailblazer, the game changer, the woman that's out there holding it with our children and our communities and I believe humanity, because a rising tide lifts all boats. And when we do our own personal work, that tide gets to rise. And so what if reclaiming just 1 hour a day, by staying here in this workshop, by saying yes to the trifecta, by incorporating some of these things, I gave you a list of a bunch of practical things. Choose one of them that you start tomorrow. And what if? What if it reclaimed 1 hour a day, 7 days a week, 4 weeks a month, 52 weeks a year, 365 days, 365 hours that could be reclaimed and recalibrated and reimagined and redistributed to go be the woman you want to be? What if? Right. And how many more hours a week to lead with energy? So I'm so appreciative that each of you have shown up. For those of you watching the replay wherever you are, I honor you. I honor you for your time. I honor you for your willingness to be in self-reflection and to be able to say yes. I want to feel spectacular. I want to feel vibrant. I want to feel optimized. So, yeah, there's the replay link. The replay will be up on the page within the next hour to 2 hours. And on there is a bunch of testimonials. You'll see on there the link to book a call. You'll see on there the link to the trifecta to learn more. I'll be able to answer your questions. Remember, we'll be live an hour a day. Today's Wednesday, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then you're going to have another 4 or 5 days to watch the replays. And then all of the bonuses are available until November 26th if you say yes to the trifecta. If you end up popping on a call and we decide instead it would make more sense for you to come to the January retreat or add the retreat with the trifecta or come into a different offering, I'm happy to still give you the bonuses as long as you say yes by the 26th. So email the team, text the team. If you didn't get to print up the workbook ahead of time, please do. This stuff tomorrow, oh my God, it's going to be so good. I'm excited for you. And friends are calling. I've got to stop the Instagram and stop the YouTube and stop the Zoom. I'm so grateful, each and every one of you, and look forward to seeing you tomorrow, same time. For everybody that's on live, we're keeping track. For anybody that's on live all 4 days, you'll be entered to win a free hour with me to do a mentoring call. And I'm so excited to meet you and do that. Of course, Shannon, I'm so glad you are here. And thanks to everyone. You're welcome, Maria. Thank you. So good. Appreciate it.